Hello, right, I'm back again, and I have had 4 weeks of Brian from brew to, so I bottled it 2 weeks ago, and now we are at the point where I'm going to actually taste Brian for the first time. So this is my middle-aged taste test. So I've got Brian here. Brian looking quite good. I think there's a bit of chill haze on there, but you know, this is the first thing I brewed, so I've got no idea. Like I said, the goal was to brew something that is drinkable and at the same time is pleasant and doesn't make me die when I open the bottle and taste it. So let's hope it's good. I followed a recipe that supposedly is going to bring something Duvalish. I'm not convinced it's going to be Duval because I think it's too dark for that, but we'll have a look, and then maybe I can get some suggestions from other people on the comments about how, if I was to brew Brian too, what kind of thing I can do to make it even lighter. I'm suspecting I can do something which I'll mention in a minute, but let's do the test. So this has been bottled for 2 weeks. It's a small sound of fizz. I don't know how fizzy it is. So this is the Brian. Okay, so try not to get the sediment out because there's sediment in the bottom of the bottle, so I'm going to leave a little bit in there. Still want the sediment. Now, it's not very fizzy, so I don't know whether I've done something wrong there, but you can see there's plenty of bubbles in it, so there is some fizz. And let's taste it and see what we're going to get. Actually, it's fizzier than I thought. It's just not got much of a head, but it's fizzy enough. Now you can see this is not Duval, but what it is a Belgian or a Northern France. This is like a beer de garde. It is a bit like Jeanlin or a little bit like Lef. Lef's sweeter than this though. This is not as sweet as Lef. But it isn't killing me as I'm drinking it, and it doesn't taste of scum or moose urine, which is a good sign. I mean, it's malty, it's beery, it's quite sweet, so I'm not sure it's gone through like a really massive fermentation. Problem is this is the first thing I've brewed, so I don't know. So maybe in the comments you can help me. So how would I make this lighter if I brewed it again? If I brewed Brian 2, how might I make this lighter? How might I make it a little bit, I'd say I'd prefer it if it was a bit more bitter. It's quite sweet. It's not a problem, but it is a beer. It's more like a beer de garde than it is, I'd say, something that was, or a double, maybe. You know, I'm speaking off the top of my head. So I've been to France, drunk plenty of beer. I think things like Ch'ti. What was the other one that I was drinking? I've got to think now. What was the other one I was drinking? Gaudel or Goudel, whatever it's called. That's the one I had the other week. This is a bit like that again. It's not quite as sickly as those, but it's got that kind of estery kind of taste to it. So there you go. This is Brian, Uncle Brian, named after someone who's not called Brian, but paying homage to a family joke. So there you go. So you can see the varying colours of that. I mean, the camera's gonna make it. So it's not like fizzy, but there is a bit of bubbles to it. So I wonder whether one of the other things is, how do you make it more fizzy? Do you put more sugar in it at the end? Do you put? I mean, this has had one carbonation drop in it. So was that not enough? I mean, these are only 330ml bottles, or was there not enough yeast in the fermentation left over, or is it just that they're gonna not carbonate up much? They've been sat in boxes in my office, which has been above 20 degrees C. Is that too warm? So here you go. I throw it out to the people who are slightly more brewery experts out there. Are there any comments? How do I make it lighter? Now, my theory of making it lighter would be to use a lighter. So this is light malt extract. Pardon me, it's fizzy, isn't it? But I'm wondering whether if you use extra light malt extract or if I did a full brew with Pilsner malt. Now, that would be a full mash with Pilsner malt. So would that work better? Would that give me a lighter? Would it give me, so the fear I've got with doing a full mash is that I wouldn't put enough sugar into it. But in this case, I can tell there's probably almost too much sugar in it. But it's not unpleasant. It's just probably a bit sweeter than what I would generally drink. But it is really pleasant. So I'm very pleased that on a first brew, it hasn't spoiled. And that was my biggest fear on brewing something, that there would be some contamination that I brought in by accidentally touching something I'm putting in. But people that taste this who are seasoned brewers might think, oh, it's not very good. But it's not horrible. It's not got a horrible aftertaste. It's sweet on the tongue, but it's got a beer to guard kind of flavour. It really does remind me of Jean. It's got that kind of tone to it. So despite not brewing Duval, I have actually made something that I think is actually really, really acceptable. And like I said, I'm open to comments. I'm open to people, expressing what they would, think I could try. It's got a little bit of chill haze, but it's not bad, I don't think, seeing as I didn't filter it or do anything to it. And I know that if you were to leave it, bottles of it in the fridge for a long time, several weeks, the chill haze would go and it would become quite clear. Before it's chilled, it is very clear. So I haven't got something that is, like really off. And for a first brew, I don't think it's too bad. So there we go. Cheers, Uncle Brian. Here's to you. And this is the first batch. I'm going to share some with a friend of mine when I go and visit him in a couple of weeks' time. So I'll probably try and get his thoughts on what he thinks it tastes like. But I'm actually pleasantly surprised that Uncle Brian tastes so nice. Here's to you, Uncle Brian. Cheers.